New intro. So much love and appreciation to those of you who have been with me for the 2 year period plus that I've been doing this. Thank you for showing your love and support to the channel. And to anybody else who is brand new to the platform and you would like to support the channel, also you can do it by way of Patreon, Anchor, the clothing store, and also the shoe shop that is listed in the comment description below. And again, thank you to any and all of you guys who have been here to support this channel during the 2+ year period. I wouldn't be able to do what I do every single day without you.
And Jen, it's a display you can't miss during the day, and it's a display you can't miss during the night. Now, this year, as you can see, there are 30+ skeletons as a reenactment of the Capitol insurrection. He says usually his displays have some sort of writing to explain the meaning of it, but this year he says the display speaks for itself. The only writing you see is on the building.
They are enemies of this country. You don't attack our Capitol building and say you're a patriot. And so that's why my title up here is very, very simple at the top. These are not patriots.
Matt Warshauer is the creative mind behind the Halloween house on North Main Street. This year, he knew he wanted a ton of skeletons, but they came at a price. So he turned to the community for help.
I use cardboard, styrofoam, the skeletons. I did a GoFundMe this year so I could buy 30 skeletons.
When his $1,000 worth of skeletons arrived at his front door, he put in the 50 hours of labor on his front lawn. Next thing he knew, his display became a visitor attraction.
And when they're all lit, it's super creepy.
The political historian and Central Connecticut State University professor is well aware his display does not please everyone. In fact, he has gotten some hate mail, of which he welcomes.
You know, it's just a display. It's plastic skeletons. Get over yourself.
Warshauer telling Fox 61 he has not gotten as many visitors, pointing to what he calls the current political temperature. And this display will be up until Halloween Day, where the homeowner is encouraging trick-or-treaters to swing by, and we'll see whether his tradition carries on to next year.
You know, the one thing I love about this is that he stood his ground on that. He said that he received, you know, hate mail from individuals that, you know, they don't, you know, like what it is that he put up. But it's like, that's a personal problem. If you don't like it, then you don't have to look directly at the house. You acting like, you know, somebody is forcing you to look at what it is that, you know, he put up. And if you disagree with it, that further shows, you know, what side you basically are on. You're 100% for people that you feel, right, call themselves patriots, right, and that they're protecting the Constitution and taking back the country, right? But yet the funniest thing is, I put it to you like this. A lot of these people that say that they're protecting the Constitution and they're trying to do all of these things that the government's not doing, where were you guys back in in the early 2000s, right? When in Detroit, I watched Fox News and they stated that, you know, 1 to 5% of jobs, you know, were basically being outsourced, you know, being pushed overseas. If a lot of these patriots and all of these individuals, right, who wants to, you know, go to the Capitol and take it back and, you know, do all of these things, where were you guys at that point in time in the early stages? Right before all of the factory jobs were shifted and moved over to other countries. Those jobs were given to other people and taken away from the American people. Where were you guys really? Oh, that's right. You didn't care. Because when those jobs were getting taken away from those communities, they didn't specifically, right, hurt you up until where we are right now. Right? You see how that works? You see what happens when people don't want to speak on and bring up and talk about things earlier on, but then they want to wait until things start affecting them. Now they want to, you know, start trying to get hype, act all rah rah rah, right? And now they about it, right? Now they about that life. Now they want to go out here and do something. Now they want to show themselves, right? But as I told people before, if the colors were switched, right? If all of those people that were there at the Capitol that day, right, on January 6th, if all of those people were black, we all know beyond a shadow of a doubt that there would have been a whole different response. There would have been a military response that would have been pushed that day at that moment in time, where you would have just seen a sea of black people. And the black Republicans, right, would have been the main ones speaking out against black people doing that, right? And those black Republicans are the exact same ones who, quote unquote, represent the true American patriots who stormed the Capitol that day. But yet they co-signed them. And they're all for all of that nonsense. And then you have the whole other, right, section that wants to act as though this never happened. Like, I'm completely confused on how something that visibly, vocally, we can see audio from it, people wrote about it on Twitter, took snapshots and pictures, magically, there's a nice majority of the country that want to act like this day never happened. Isn't it amazing how people can erase history that actually happened, that we were all able to see? They just want to overlook it as if it was something that happened 100 years ago. But they can decide to look over it because it has to do with them, right? But if it dealt with black people, oh, no. This is a wrongdoing here. You did this to this country. This is treasonous. You should all be arrested. You're not patriots. You're not for the Constitution. You're against this country, right? And if you don't like this country, then you can go back to where you came from. That's what they decide to tell black people all the time. Anytime that we have a disagreement, either verbal, visual, whatever it is, with this country, right, that we've, been on, that we've been a part of, since and before the inception, this is what they tell us. Go back to where you came from. But realistically, why don't you go back to where you came from? Because you are not indigenous to the continent of North America. Because as I read off the definition to people that stated about America, matter of fact, let me just pull out this book again, because we got some people that might be hard of hearing directly in the back. So let me just help you out just a little bit, right? So it says the definition of American. Number 1, which is pertaining to America. Number 2, American, a native of America, originally applied to the Aboriginals or the copper color races, which means none of the people who are European, none of the people who are looking, chalk-like, pasty, translucent, clear. None of these people that you see here, who are the majority, who are basically the face of the United States, none of these people are Aboriginal. None of these people are indigenous. None of these people are copper colored, right? Let's continue. They then state that found here by the Europeans, right? Which means that the copper color, the indigenous, the Aboriginal people were already here before the Europeans, but they were found by the Europeans. You can't find something that was never lost, right? So let's continue. Then they state that it now applies to the descendants of Europeans born in America. I wonder why that is. I wonder why is it that it swapped from a group of people who were originally here to now Americans, standing for the Europeans that are now born after those people. Oh, that's right. Because you decided to erase history. You decided to rewrite history. You decided to also lie about history, such as the DOS rolls, right? And you wanted to basically make yourselves $5 Indians, right? And then on top of that, you wanted to push people into, extinction, and you also wanted to control the narrative by controlling the wording of what supposedly Aboriginal, Native, and all these other things basically were. You hid all of this under different types of brandings and names. So that's why now you can call yourselves Americans, because there's nobody technically left with the original knowledge, in a sense, of what it was before you got here. But like I said, I'm reading this directly from your books. These are not lies. Anybody can clearly look that up if they, want to go back that far. But anyways, I digress. I just love the fact that this man clearly state that never forget. I'm 100% with Matt on that. Let's never forget. Let's celebrate this every single Halloween. Let's celebrate this every single presidential election. Whenever there's like a President's Day or different things like that, let's make sure to celebrate this and to always bring this up so that people will never forget. But anyways, that's enough of me talking. Let me know what you guys think about this video and everything that was stated in the comment description below. And as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.